Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the program. Today is the 1 year thereabouts anniversary of this channel. I started this channel sometime late July last year, just to see really if have the discipline to just do it on a weekly basis. And it turns out I've kept going, and it's been a year now. I think we're at one. Yesterday I uploaded an episode. It was about number 160 or 161. I'm not sure, because somewhere along the way the number, when I named the files and I assigned them numbers, I think I may have skipped a number at some point, maybe even several times. I'm not sure. That's entirely possible, and haven't really bothered to check, but I'm there about maybe even 170 at the top end, and pretty soon I'm going to get to 200. So I just thought it'd be apt to make a video, since now we're almost closing in on 1,200 subscribers, and it just seems like it's good to update the people who were, I guess, the early adopters, the early people who subscribe. And I definitely read all the comments. I've kept track of, I guess, just not advertently, just inadvertently. I remember all the pretty much everyone that leaves a comment. A large part of that is me looking up what they're talking about. Finds relevant to some stuff that is routinely, pretty much every video, someone leaves a comment that has a link to something really interesting that has led me down a few rabbit holes, actually, in my free time. But anyway, so I just thought it'd be cool to read a few of the comments in this video. I always say that I'm going to do it, but then it just never works out that way, because it's really hard to carve time outside of recording these videos and also looking through all the comments and stuff, and addressing them in a separate video it's hard for me. So anyway, I'm going to pull up some of these YouTube comments, and some of the BitChute comments too, I'll look up. By the way, speaking of BitChute, someone sent me a tip through BitChute, and I totally forgot that I had that up. I forgot that BitChute had tipping on it. So yeah, if you guys are BitChute listeners, go ahead and consider donating, because all the money that comes from that just goes directly back into hardware, software, whatever it is that I need to keep this channel going. And I think I mentioned on Grimerica that I'm on a shoestring, if anything. So, and it's just stuff that I've had pretty much all throughout the past maybe 6-7 years that I just had lying around. So it's really it's not super high tech, let's just put it that way. But anyway, I got a comment here from a awesome subscriber, a new subscriber, and he was commenting on my Gobekli Tepe Ancient Pillar Warns of Multiple Comet Impacts video. This is one of my way earlier videos from probably around August or September of last year. I don't know, I could look it up now, but I don't want to do it. But it's by Ken McGonigal. He's saying, this topic is a passion of mine, very interesting. Have you read Graham Hancock's latest book? If you're talking about America Before, yes, I've read it twice already, and there's just so much information in it, and I highly recommend anybody go buy Fingerprints of the Gods. Even though all the information from there is pretty dated, it was written in '95. Definitely just check it out, because the way Graham writes is just perfect for someone who's just getting into the topic. He makes it as if you're part of the journey with him, if that makes a lot of sense, or any sense. He gives a great account of what's in the record, what's known, what's not known, all the controversies involved with academia and archaeology. Plus, he's reporting on actual primary evidence. So it's almost like he's your eyes and ears, and that's why I find his writing to be really endearing, and I feel most comfortable recommending him to other people who are new to the topic, and it's so easy to get what he's saying for the most part. So I've read Magicians of the Gods as well. That was a book before that. there are a ton of great authors out there, guys. It's not just Graham Hancock. I just recommend him the most because it's not as dense of a reading as other books. But there's a ton of stuff out there, guys. Marty Sweatman has some great stuff. There's a ton out there that I would recommend. So Ken, I agree with you. This topic is indeed a passion of mine as well. I think it's very interesting stuff, and I don't think it's useless knowledge at all. I think it's very relevant knowledge, and it just seems like a lot of people have issue getting past that hump where they just can't escape the fact that it's just too geeky, it's too fringe, no one talks about it ever. So yeah. Hank Hill, Mr. Hill, he says, the Jindo I've been listening for 6 months or so. I hate orthodoxy. It blinds us. You are an honest seeker. Keep it up, brother. Peace. Thank you, Mr. Hill. Great comment. I've seen you comment in the past. You've been around. Yeah, you have been around for a while. Yeah, orthodoxy has its place, though. It's only when it gets run amok is when it's an issue. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's nice to be able to finally have these pioneers in really, yeah, they're pioneers in this subject that is deviating from the mainstream narrative. And yeah, that could be classified as orthodoxy for sure. People are just so hesitant to get into the new quote fringe stuff that it at this point it's not even fringe anymore, not even among the academics, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, they still call people pseudoscientists and stuff like that, but it depends on who you're reading, obviously, because there are charlatans out there. But as far as knowledge and how much people know now, it's not limited to just academia anymore. And now there are people who have, like Randall Carlson's a great example of a guy who, although he obviously came from academia at one point, he's been doing independent research and study and all of this for years and years, to the point where he's accumulated so much knowledge. He has pointed out so many patterns. He's opened up a lot of minds to the subject that he far exceeds anyone with a PhD. If you just look at it from like an hours standpoint, how many hours he has in the subject, he's got a ton of it. He's been doing it since the 60s. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you, Hank. All right. This one's from freethinker. Wow, I sure hope a map of all the region that use cuneiform is being done with each version. Will be interesting to know which version. The range is more widespread than I was thinking. Yeah, this was on the cuneiform writing, the one that I did a few days ago. There was a drought, and it revealed this ancient palace in Iraq, and it reveals all this new stuff. And among were 10 cuneiform tablets that have been sent to Germany for analysis. And yeah, I agree with you, freethinker. It would be interesting to see if there's a primordial map, kind of like the Aquaterra map project, where that's mapping the coastlines. That'd be cool if we had a map of the entire region to see where all the networks of caves are, and where anything, if it were buried, where it were, any megalithic sites. That would be cool, just to have a map like that. And who knows, perhaps there's one out there. As far as that cuneiform goes, yeah, there's a lot of potential there for, just anything new to the primary source of evidence is paramount. I mean, that's the only way that we're going to move past where we are now in terms of, I guess, optics and closer to the truth of what was going on back then. And if there's no more primary evidence coming in, then everything else is just speculation. Thank you, freethinker, for the comment. Let's see. Let's do one more. I don't want this to drag too long. Okay, this is a BitChute comment from crazyworld. He says, do you realize how long the experts argued and stalled Dead Sea Scroll translations, and that was only 800 or so manuscripts? Wow, just think what they will do if the tablets produce a bunch of translations which are, quote, uncomfortable for the secular history narrative. Yeah, that's definitely a huge concern. well, not really concern. It's just a reality that people are going to debate these things. It's just part of the fire. It's part of the process of being accepted into quote the mainstream or common parlance. I guess it's just part of the process of being accepted. Again, they're not going to go down without a fight. Obviously, there has to be some sort of process, some purification process. I guess just like peer review is supposed to be that for academia, where it survives the fires of criticism and then comes out the other end a proven, working, sturdy framework or model of what the history would have been like, let's say, for example, beyond the Younger Dryas, 12,800 years ago and beyond. So far, there hasn't been anything stronger than what academia was pulling out of its ass at the time. But then later on, when more and more primary evidence started coming out, and then there were more and more voices, and then the internet amplified those voices uncontested. Well, not uncontested, unedited or unsmothered, right? Then you started to have this other perspective build their evidence and their model until that model was proposed, and then it becomes, again, like common knowledge, common parlance. So again, I think it's good. It's part of the process, crazy world. And yeah, only 800 or so manuscripts. And then now that they have all of these new tablets and a bunch of other tablets that people are holding on to, whether it's private collectors, museums, universities, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that have yet to be even translated, let alone argued over. So there's still a long way to go in terms of that. Thankfully, we have the internet and this connectivity we have through technology to help speed up that process, if that makes sense. All right, guys, that's it for the comments. Again, thanks for subscribing and caring to leave comments. You guys are pretty cool. I love interacting with you guys, and really, you guys have been pretty good at broadening my horizons as well, seeing what's out there. You guys are kind of like my feelers too. Unless you're posting some BS stuff, which also I've seen a couple of those as well. Those have flown through my desktop, I guess. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of anything. Really, if you go back and look at the past year of work, what subject that I covered appealed to you the most? What did you think was interesting? Did you think that I wasn't covering something? It seems like the Neanderthal stuff is the most popular by far, because again, everyone can relate to having an interest in that, because we're all sapiens, right? Presumably. But I think that you guys are, well, I know that you guys are a big part of me keeping this discipline going, but also it's enriched me in personal ways as well. It's just having a discipline, just like working out, being disciplined enough to work out. You know, the end result of that is getting into some sort of shape. It's the same thing with this, to me anyway. Eventually you're going to develop subscribers and people commenting, and you're going to have ideas going back and forth. And that's basically why I started the channel in the first place, just for some interaction in the subject, kind of like a forum almost, but not really a forum, because this is like a collection of stuff that I'm actually talking about. But I'm talking about comments wise. It's just it's a pretty useful tool as well, so I get a lot out of that. But yeah, anyway, share the channel. I suppose apparently since I went on Grimerica, the numbers have been going up really quicker than usual. Things are accelerating. Again, happy 1 year. Here's to another year, which I think will come sooner than you think. So leave those comments. Tell me your favorite subjects that I covered. Any suggestions, whatever you want. Probably some trolls will be in there too. But anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you later.